Namaste, Seekers. Good morning. Welcome back to the Seekers Satsang as part of our journey in corporate Seekers. So, we had a good amount of break in the last 3 weeks. So, I went for a 2 weeks meditation retreat, and it was a wonderful experience. Had a tremendous breakthrough given by one of the very good insights shared by Sister Sukha, one of the monks there. So we'll continue where we left last time. Okay. So our intent in corporate seekers journey with all the seekers is to see how might we transform our mundane corporate lives and troublesome personal lives in various degrees into a blissful spiritual journey in itself. Okay. So that's the intent. So in that, the first starting point we recognized was to understand what are we actually seeking in life. And so if you see the tagline of corporate seekers, we say it's seeking beyond the obvious, because we obviously seek the obvious things. For example, that's very common, right? We know about it. What are the obvious things we seek in life? And a good career, progression in it, more money, more wealth, good health, etc. Or build a home, buy a car, go for vacation. So these are obvious things that we seek anyway. So, what do we mean by seeking beyond the obvious? So, this journey is to explore both seeking the obvious as well as seeking beyond the obvious. So, we'll take a quick glimpse at what we discussed in the previous connects. And then today we have Sreedevi as well back in the hot seat to uh, go further and detail out her own list of seeking. Okay. So, we'll come back to Sreedevi in a moment. I'll just give you a glimpse of what we have been discussing so far. Okay. I'll just bring up the slide. Okay. Are you able to see the slide? Give me a thumbs up if you can see it.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So we discussed that two things are very foundational for our own whole journey of seeking. That is healthy body and healthy mind. And on top of this, we build the whole life around these two. The healthy relationships, relationship with ourselves and relationship with our near and dear ones. It could be spouse, children, parents, in-laws, and the extended ecosystem of friends, colleagues, with our nature, with society, etc. So there are different layers of relationships that can unfold in our lives. And then we all pursue something or the other in life. It could be a professional journey in the form of a job, or maybe business, or anything else, academic pursuit, many pursuits. And typically, we pursue more than one thing at the same time. That's the nature of our material world. And we all seek growth in these pursuits in some or the other way. And by the virtue of this growth in our pursuits, we intend to create wealth. And wealth here, I mean both the material wealth as well as the non-material, intangible spiritual wealth. Okay, so this constitutes the holistic happiness, is what we discussed. Then we asked a question: what do we mean by holistic freedom? So, holistic freedom, we said, our final goal from this whole existence is to attain moksha, attain liberation. So, this is based on the Vedic knowledge. Okay, so different people may have different interpretations of this word or phrase or concept called moksha. That's okay. If someone doesn't like this whole word called moksha, that's fine. Just replace it with detachment. Okay, so what do we mean detachment, freedom, or moksha? We want to be free. When we die, we want to die freely without any sense of entanglement or emotional attachment, etc. Okay, so think about that state. Okay, if you don't like the word moksha. So, how do we experience freedom in these dimensions is what we discussed. So, we said when we say healthy body, while I nurture this body, can I still be detached from my identity with the body? When I nurture the mind to be healthy, can I detach myself from my identity with the mind? Because I am something beyond this body and mind. When I nurture healthy relationships, can I still be detached so that I don't entangle myself emotionally and hurt myself and hurt others as well in the process of nurturing healthy relationships? So, giving in a relationship and yet be detached. Can I still grow in my pursuits and still be detached? about the pursuits, about the growth of the pursuits, about the fruits of the growth of the pursuits. Sounds very mystical in a way, but it is possible. That's what we mean seeking beyond the obvious. These are the obvious things we seek anyway, but the beyond aspect is doing all these things, achieving all these things, pursuing all these things with a sense of detachment. Can I still create wealth and be detached about it? Can I still spiritually progress and be detached about the potential ego that might set in? Hey, I'm spiritually progressing very well. Okay. There also there is a possibility of ego setting in. So to achieve all these things in a very holistic manner, that's why I emphasize the word holistic a lot. Okay, so this process brings holistic clarity, first of all, right? So last couple of calls we have had in the Sika Satsang. So we started with Sharon Bhalla, and she mentioned, so this is bringing me clarity. What am I going to seek in my life? And Sreedevi also expressed that, okay, this is bringing clarity, putting pen to paper or on an Excel sheet. This is bringing clarity as to how I should go about achieving these things. And to power all these things, okay, so for example, how to create a healthy body, you will have n number of people will be ready to teach you how to create a healthy body in terms of your diet. You will have nutritionists and fitness coaches and yoga teachers and whatnot. I mean, there are so many avenues to work on your healthy body and similarly on your healthy mind. Okay, and you will have so many relationship coaches, etc., teaching you how to nurture healthy relationships, growth in pursuits. So let's say Sridevi wants to become a business analyst and grow in her career. So you'll have career coaches helping you how to do that. Okay, if you're somebody who is into business, how to grow in your business, either as a coach or as an entrepreneur, you will have different coaches trying to help you in those areas. Wealth creation, you will have people like finance with Sharan or people like that helping you, or how to manage stocks, how to invest, etc. Okay, and then spiritual growth as well. So you will have n number of experts available in all these areas. However, along with holistic happiness, to achieve holistic freedom, it's important to understand the true knowledge that is required, which will power the whole journey. So, what is the true knowledge? That's for us to explore further. Okay, and this true knowledge is something which is kind of it pervades all the other dimensions. As you can visually see how I'm trying to depict here, the true knowledge propels us to walk this journey with a sense of holistic freedom. Okay, so this is where we paused last time. I'm going to stop the slide share here. And Devi very willingly came forward and shared her journey. What is she seeking in life? Let me bring that slide now, the Excel sheet. Yeah, I had shared the access with you, Devi, and I see that you're editing this morning. So good. So we'll quickly do a summary glance of what we have entered so far here. Okay, then we'll take it forward today. Okay, so under different categories. So true knowledge, you said we quantified it as well. Reading 5 best Ayurveda books. You're inclined towards Ayurveda, maybe a few classical books and a few modern commentaries on Ayurveda. Learning more about yoga and learning to chant Sahasranama, Hanuman Chalisa, etc. That's what you mentioned last time in the category of true knowledge. And healthy body, we try to arrive at 3 areas and quantify those. And I see that you have nicely entered the quantified numbers as well in terms of overcoming thyroid, the current TSH levels, and the target aspirational range being 0.450 and 4.5. Okay. Is it 4.5 or minus 4.5?
Sorry, 2. That is 2.
Acha, I'll just change it.
0.450 to 4.5. Actually, it is within the range now because I take medication.
Okay, got it. So maybe without medication, managing thyroid could be a potential
Managing.
goal. Okay, so shall I mention it here? Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, Achieve this without medication or minimal medication.
Yeah, the dosage will be minimal.
Yeah.
25
Yeah.
milligrams. Yeah.
Okay. And then higher energy levels. So we kind of combined the physical body element and the energy body element here. And we said if when I saw that you mentioned, and I did my Brahmari as well and counted while you were entering it here. So yeah, so you know your current Brahmari count, and aspirationally see if you can double it. So if it is
Okay,
10, maybe
I'll
20,
update that.
right? So let me enter it. So maybe 15 seconds to start with, but you can
Yeah.
progressively keep adding a few more seconds. And then because adding every 2 seconds will mean a significant increase in the overall Brahmari count. Okay. So as we do the sadhana, this will increase. Okay. And weight, current weight is 65 and aspirational target is 55. That's good. And calm mind. So you mentioned last time that you wish to be in a state of absolute calmness. Maybe look for ways in which you'll be able to measure it in a way. Okay. So maybe, for example, okay, so I was having one goal that I need to engage very empathetically with my spouse. Okay. So how do I measure it? Measuring how many times I was empathetic is probably going to be difficult. The easier way could be number of instances where I lose empathy and my balance. Okay. So I
Right.
had quantified number, in a year, it should not be more than 24. Okay. But then I should be aware whenever I lost my balance. Okay. So that awareness has to kick in, and I should note, okay, today was I off balance in my relationship? Okay. So that way, have your own ways of finding out how exactly you can make it little more measurable. Okay.
Yeah.
Healthy
That's
relationships.
a very good point, Manju, because um, like frankly speaking, after the session,
Hmm,
um, it was very clear.
hmm,
For every section of this page,
hmm,
it was very clear. For example, healthy body.
hmm,
So now my target is that always there is a always I'm seeking to learn, right?
hmm,
Similarly, I'm making sure before end of day I do exercise at least 15 minutes.
hmm,
So that's what happened from the day we met till maybe it's a few weeks, right?
hmm.
And I also got a great opportunity to meet, go to an event where I'm not sure if you have heard of the name Anandamayi Amma, we call.
Okay.
One of my cousin, they do this, they teach Sushumna Kriya meditation.
Hmm,
So that Amma came to US, New Jersey. So we went. I didn't know anything about her or nothing about what she's going to teach, etc. So
hmm,
once I went there, she initiated all the new seekers, and from that day, I'm doing 21 minutes meditation
hmm,
without fail.
hmm,
That gave me more clarity. I do it in the morning after shower, and I have higher energy levels. See,
hmm,
when I spoke last time, I was aiming for high energy levels because I cook for 1 hour and I have to take rest for 10 minutes at least.
hmm,
But I could see past 2 weekends within just few weeks of practice. Yesterday, one of our neighbors came for dinner. I
hmm,
was in the kitchen from morning at least for 4 5 hours because I was cooking. They were like from Asia, so I want to give them the authentic Indian food. So I have been making many dishes. I wasn't even tired even once, and I saw my steps. I did at least 20K steps,
hmm.
which I never achieved in the whole time I was wearing my Apple Watch. That was the first time I did. I was surprised myself, and again, I wanted to acknowledge that and thank you, Manju, for putting this on a piece of paper. It made a lot of difference.
Wonderful, Sreedevi. You're a big action taker. Okay,
Yeah.
that is, see, because how many amount hours of discussion we do, it won't cut the ice until and unless you take action, and really
Yeah,
appreciate
I
it.
got an opportunity also.
Yeah.
Like my cousin invited for that, and I attended. And I got inspired,
Yeah.
and the Sushumna Kriya meditation is just 21 minutes, and
Hmm.
it was very easy for me to manage 21 minutes in the mornings
Hmm.
without any chaos or any sounds. It was like peaceful,
Hmm.
so it was great. Yeah.
Wonderful. And I've come to really believe, and it's just unfolding in my life as well, that when we are ready, the universe actually
Yeah,
brings more
absolutely.
opportunities.
Absolutely. I follow The Secret. So
Yeah.
I read every day, I read Secret book at least once a day.
Hmm.
And I have an app where morning I wake up, I read today's message, you
Mm.
know. That also kind of motivates me and keep me grounded and calm.
Wonderful, Sridevi. Very happy to know. Inspirational as well. Thank you. So yeah, so you may go ahead and probably figure out your parameters by which you will kind of measure or assess. It need not be very mechanical. Figure out whatever naturally feels to you about measuring how calm am I being. Okay, so that's another way. I'll leave it open for you to figure out because it's
Yeah,
very subjective to each of us. Body is slightly gross, so it's
yeah,
easy to measure it. Calm mind is not that easy. Okay,
yeah,
maybe the number of moments that you were off balance in your state of mind.
yeah.
Okay, so in a day, it could be first start measuring how many times. So when you do the end of day introspection, if you're not doing, maybe it's good to just sit on the bed before you sleep.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
So that's another very good point. So in the Sushumna Kriya meditation,
hmm,
21 minutes in the morning and in the night, 10 minutes before bed, introspect
hmm.
and write the journal for 10 minutes.
One.
And it is, these are the two main steps in that
Mm.
program.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing that and I see the clarity now.
Hmm. Okay. So you figure out your mechanisms or parameters
Sure.
to measure how balanced you are in the day. And healthy relationships we spoke about with yourself. You mentioned know yourself better, increasing
Yeah,
self-awareness. Self-awareness is also a function of calm mind.
yeah,
It's self-awareness is cutting across all these dimensions anyway. And spousal support, supporting your husband in his passions and more friendly with your daughters. If I'm not wrong, the WhatsApp DP you have of is of your daughters
yeah,
doing Natyam.
yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah. They
Wonderful.
graduated. They graduated last July 20th. Yeah.
Wonderful.
We did a Arangetam and
Hmm.
um, initially we were like, should we do it or not? But after, because it was too expensive, but
Hmm.
after doing it, like we felt so happy that, we did take a good decision. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. So you may similarly go ahead and if you want to work on relationships with your parents, in-laws, colleagues, and friends, you can expand it further accordingly. Okay.
Sure.
And growth in pursuits, we mentioned too, that is grow into a manager role in your IT profession and teach yoga to family and friends is what you have mentioned. Okay, because I really appreciate the second point specifically because first point is kind of obvious seeking. Okay, second is probably stepping beyond your current zone and helping your family and friends with yoga. And you also mentioned your inclination towards Ayurveda. So maybe
Yeah.
you can blend all these things. And also another thing I want to mention here, Sridevi, that we don't necessarily have to be like expert in these areas to
Mm.
influence others to walk the path of sattvic lifestyle. Okay, all you need is a good intention and energy to drive people for change. Management starts with yourself. That's one. And influencing ability to influence your near and dear ones, and they will buy into your state of being, right?
Yeah.
How much ever we say people do it, do it, do it, they see us doing it and they see transformation in us and they get inspired to do it, right? So that's the best way,
Absolutely.
and you are on the path clearly to be an example. Okay, so we can speak about sometime how you could go about doing this, expanding the value of well-being to your family and friends.
Sure.
Okay. And wealth creation. So you have mentioned that become financially literate and engage in financial literacy discussion with daughters. Okay. So
Yeah.
this is good. So eventually we will turn all these things into actionables. Okay.
Yeah.
So what we have
So
written so
for the
far.
wealth creation, I would like to say one thing that I already have taken an action on that. I
Hmm,
have enrolled into the life insurance um, licensing
hmm,
exam and I finished my certification. I'll
hmm.
be giving my test in 2 weeks. So
Wonderful, Sridevi. You are a massive action taker. Very nice.
thank you. Yeah. And I gained a lot of knowledge earlier. Like uh, I hardly know what it is. But when I started reading for the certification, it opened eye, there is lot to learn and educate my daughters.
Mm.
Yeah, that was an action that I have already taken and it's in progress.
Excellent. I feel so happy when people take rapid actions like this. Because only when we take action we see transformation, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And in the last dimension of moksha, well, that's the resultant state. Okay. If you ask me, people might say, hey, moksha is like something we've always heard it to be like a post-death phenomena. Okay. Once we die, moksha will happen. So you must have heard of this phrase that how can I be in the state of moksha while being alive? And that state is called Jivan Mukti. And the person being in that state is called Jivan Mukta. That is, while being alive in this biological body, in the mind, in this material world, can I be in that state of complete detachment? Right? So that state is Jivan Mukti. Probably, so that will be an intermediate step even before we write moksha in the slide that I showed. Right? So the whole idea is to power ourselves with the true knowledge which will take us to that state. For example, uh, let me, I don't know whether I mentioned this phrase in the last conversation or not. Um, the whole journey can be divided into two dimensions. Okay. For the lack of better term or to better terminology, I'll call it as a relatively tactical dimension and a bit more strategic dimension. Okay. So you're from corporate, you understand these two terms. Okay. So, for example, all these things of overcoming thyroid, increasing my energy, reducing my weight, okay, being supportive in my relationships, growing in IT profession, teaching yoga, becoming financially literate. All this I would broadly categorize. And don't take me wrong for the using the word tactically. Okay, for the lack of better term, I'm using this word. Probably I should find out a better terminology for this. These are all obvious things. Okay, yeah, obvious things is a better term, maybe. Obvious things that we seek, right? So the not so obvious thing or beyond the obvious thing is how do I navigate through this with a sense of complete detachment? That's
Can
I
you repeat again?
yeah. How do we walk this journey with a sense of complete detachment?
Could you throw an example? Like,
For an example, okay, I was talking to a friend of mine, two friends actually, in the last few days, in Bangalore airport, and I asked her, "How would you imagine the moment of your death?" Okay, and she said, "I want to die peacefully." Okay, so then I asked a question: "What do you mean by dying peacefully?" Sometime to get an interpretation of what do we mean by dying peacefully, we should first explain what is it, what does it look like to die not so peacefully, to negate and understand, okay, what do we want that state to be like. So I asked her, when you die, okay, I gave an example actually that my father had a major heart attack last month, and we came back home, the stent was put in the artery, and we came back home within 2 days, and his beard grew, and because he's 68, 69, obviously it's a white beard, right? And he was like, oh, it's not looking good. Okay, a lot of people will come to see me now at home. How are you feeling, etc., to check my health, to inquire my health. So he said, let me shave. And we said, you're on blood thinners. Okay, and what if there is a accidental cut in the
yeah.
skin? Blood will flow. Okay, so don't worry. Just for a week or two, skip shaving. And guess what? Without anyone's notice, he went into the bathroom, shaved, and came. Okay, this is a very small example. Okay, how much we identify with this body, how much of attachment we have this body. How do I look? Yeah, in a way, of course, we need to care for it because in the world we live in, it's important to care for our physical hygiene, how we show up in terms of our appearance, in terms of how we dress, in terms of how we groom our hair. It has its place. That's the tactical part, I say. The strategic part is, in spite of while grooming myself, and here we are only talking about just the external appearance, right? Not even talking about healthy body, just the external basic hygiene appearance. While I do this, can I be detached about it? Because this attachment will carry along with us till our moment of death and beyond, worse, beyond as well, right? So I asked another example. I gave a very simple example, but like this, there are so many identifications, attachments we carry with our own body. Okay, I've seen one person. She delivered a baby. Okay, and the same day or the next day, we went to see them. Okay, and she was all powder and lipstick and as if she's ready to go for a party. Okay, we care so much about how others perceive our body.
Mm.
Okay. So you can go on thinking like this, how much of attachment we have in the body. And all of this will create the tendencies or sanskaras in this life and play out at the moment of death. And we carry this forward beyond this life to the next lives. Right? Can we leave all these attachments right here and be fully detached? So similarly, you can think of the mind. Okay. So for example, and I'll take another my father's example. So when he retired, so me and my sister kind of cajoled him and forced him into early retirement. So he retired 3 years before his term would expire. He retired from Karnataka Police Department, and even now he says, "Oh, I wish I had completed those 3 years. I would have got more growth." Because police department, you have a lot of power as well, right? There is a sense of recognition, sense of appreciation for what you do. Okay. And the moment he retired, he started sensing that, oh, people are not respecting me now as they used to do earlier. Because earlier there was a position, there was a role. Okay. Even now people respect it, but there was a subtle shift in that. Okay. So where will he show his power and talent, which are functions of the mind? We carry this forward, attachment, right? So can we be when we say absolute calmness, what do we mean? Being in the now, complete self-awareness, complete detachment. Patanjali says, right, yoga chittavritti nirodha. How do we cessate, stop the fluctuations of the mind? Fluctuations are all these impressions that we carry, right?
Right.
We still need the mind, we still need the body to operate in this world. That's the tricky part. That's the art of being and yet being detached. Okay, relationships. Okay, so the last conversation, if you recollect, I'm not sure whether you were there in the conversation when Sharon was on the hot seat, Sharon Balla. So one of our seekers in the community asked a question. I know that I'm the soul. I know that my son was a soul, and she lost 10-year-old son. How do I overcome this trauma of this attachment? Right? Very difficult. You see, I gave the example of my dad shaving within 2 days of coming from ICU versus this example. Extreme examples, right? So we attach with people so much, especially women with their kids. Relatively, I mean, there is you and Sriveni here, and Rajkishore and me are there. Men are probably relatively less attached. I cannot make this as a general statement, but generally, relatively. I was talking to another woman the other day on Friday. She wanted to be alive at least till her son grows up to be like 30, 35 years of age. Why? Because I want to see that he's well settled and safe in his zone. And then I can peacefully pass away. So she has this condition. If at all I die, my son, I want to see my son settled. Okay. So much. Why? Because biologically, women have literally, figuratively, and literally produced that mass of biological entity from your own body. So women look at it as their own biological extension. So attachment. So much so that mothers are willing to sacrifice their own comforts and uh, goals and wishes and even their own body at point. They will
Yeah.
do everything possible. I'll give my life to save my child's life to that extent, which is a caring, which is good. It also induces attachment, right? So when we say growth in pursuit, as we grow, oh, I'm in this grade, I'm in this role. I manage these many people in my organization. I got so and so award. We start attaching ourselves in our mind about this growth. Wealth creation. Oh, this is a big thing, right? We attach ourselves so much with the wealth that even if it reduces even momentarily, we feel the heartache. So we carry all these kind of attachments. So the uh, the strategic element that I was mentioning about, the seeking beyond the aspect that I was mentioning about Sridevi is how do we walk this journey like a lotus flower, like a swan. So lotus flower and its the leaves of lotus. So that's why lotus has a very high significance in the Indian spiritual context and analogy, and even swan. So lotus is in the water. It is born in the mud, featured as we say, but it doesn't attach itself with the water. So the whole idea is, can we be like lotus, be in the water, but not be attached with water? It doesn't stick. Water cannot stick to lotus. Just water glides away, right? Similarly, swan, right? So swan is perhaps the only creature which can extract milk from a container. Okay, now coincidentally you're drinking water. So if you mix some water in that and you drink that versus a swan drinks it, swan has the extraordinary, very amazing ability to extract only milk and it leave the water. And it is swimming in the water, but water cannot attach itself to the feathers of the swan. That's why we see some of the spiritual gurus are named as Paramahamsa, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Paramahamsa, the ultimate, the supreme swan, and Paramahamsa Yogananda. So, can we be Paramahamsas ourselves? It is possible. As Vivekananda says, every soul is potentially divine. He adds a qualifier called potentially. We are innately divine. The potentiality has to be realized, right? So that's the whole tricky part. Uh, and based on your expressions in the previous conversation in today's Sridevi, I think there is a sense of lotusness or swanness in you. It's evident. Maybe the whole journey towards being more of that will be desirable. Okay. So,
Yeah,
how are you feeling right now, Sridevi?
yeah, I'm doing great.
So,
I'm
how
doing
do you
great,
plan to
and
walk
a
this?
lot of learnings, especially, as I said, putting this in a piece of paper
Hmm.
gives so much clarity.
Hmm.
See, how much ever you speak, we don't remember most
Hmm.
of the time, especially myself.
Hmm.
After I see the paper, like the Excel spreadsheet,
Hmm.
I went through it and the sections, the few sections in it,
Hmm.
each item, it gave me so much clarity. For example, you were saying in an year, you count for 24 times, right? Like with your how you are um, like your calmness, what is the measure that you're taking, right?
Hmm.
Even you mentioned that before yesterday, if some guest was coming, I was like agitated and like panic or chaos in the home. My husband, okay, do this, do that. Nothing like that. It was like
Hmm.
calm. I was cooking. I was just enjoying the process. I
Hmm.
took care of everything. And my husband, he's surprised. He asked me,
Hmm.
"You didn't even call me, or there was no confusion today. What's going on?"
Ah.
So I could I could sense myself, how much just with the meditation, journaling, introspect at the end of the day,
Hmm.
couple of things, and 15 minutes exercise.
Hmm.
It's a lot of change. That's why whenever I speak to my friends, I'm educating.
Hmm.
Just start with so and so. Though I'm not there yet, but
Hmm.
I definitely want my friends and family, to learn, um, to focus on their health.
Hmm.
So these are the things, to truly appreciate Manju for putting this together.
Wonderful, Sridevi. So now I have a task for you. It's a homework. Okay.
Sure.
Have an active, you have access to this Excel on Google
Yeah, I
Sheet.
have. Yeah.
Okay. So now please convert these outcomes that we have listed
Mm-hmm.
into habits.
Okay.
Okay. For example, as you said, 21 minutes of meditation every day in the morning, 10 minutes of calming down or self-awareness and journaling in the evening. So like that, each of these rows, break it
Yeah.
down further into multiple rows. For example, when you say thyroid so and so, what will you do on a daily basis?
Yeah.
So outcome is the having, habits is the doing,
Doing. Yep.
so that your state of being can elevate. So
Sure.
three things. Okay, so doing, having, and being. So the whole intention is to elevate the state of being. Okay, and we need to show the carrot of having, that is outcome. So outcome is a carrot we are showing.
Yeah.
Okay, the actual intent is to elevate our state of being. So your husband noticed your state of being,
Yeah.
shift in it in such a short span of time of what, few weeks, right?
Yeah.
So
Few
great.
weeks.
So there is a higher potential to elevate it further. So when we do all these things, so please sit with it and split each row or each of the
Yeah.
outcomes into what you will do on a daily basis.
Sure.
So frequency becomes daily. And if there is something that needs to be done on a periodic basis,
Yeah.
okay, maybe once a week, maybe once a fortnight, once a month, or every 3 days. So you decide the frequency of that activity that you will do or a habit that you'll do and mention it in the frequency.
Yeah.
For
Sure.
example, exercise for 15 minutes is a habit. Okay. Frequency is daily.
There.
Okay. Maybe do certain. So here you have mentioned higher energy level. So there is a process called pranic energization technique. Okay. Which we learned
Yeah.
in our MSc in yoga, right? So that you can do perhaps once a week.
Yeah. Now I couldn't recall. Probably I'll Google and
Yeah,
I
there are many,
remember.
there are many such practices. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can mention that maybe do Brahmari every day or
Yeah.
do any sort of chanting every day, right? So that you can mention. Now, how frequently? It could be daily or once in 3 days, once a week. Okay, and since you are very inclined towards Ayurveda, maybe do let's say Jalaneti. I'm just taking Jalaneti as an example. Okay,
Yeah.
so maybe do once a week. So your frequency becomes weekly, so that the cleansing of the nasal cleansing happens and it aids better pranayama, which will help you in energy enhancement as well and calming down the mind as well. Okay.
Yeah.
So sometimes the activities will cut across healthy body and calm mind because they're integrated. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is okay. You don't necessarily have to explicitly say this is only for mind, this is only for the body, not required. Pretty much most of the practices are integral. Okay. Integrated
Correct.
in each other. That's fine. Okay. So like this, you first fill this sheet.
Sure.
Okay, and then you have to prioritize.
Yeah.
Okay, because you will have a long laundry list of things as habits.
Yeah.
Okay. So you may prioritize based on practicality. It's not about doing too many things, it's about doing few things but more consistently. So
Yes.
consistency should be the priority.
Got it.
So I have a question for you, Sridevi. How did you feel? We had two conversations, maybe together today, what, 40 minutes and 30 minutes. I spoke for 10, 15 minutes and maybe another 40 minutes last time, less than 2 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
What did this conversation mean to you?
It's kind of an eye opener. You know, I might have known everything what we discussed in the
Mm,
first call. I might have known what we discussed today also,
mm,
but it's just that having this one-on-one conversation and jotting down kind of gave clarity, right? Okay, I know in back of my mind, okay, I am so and so weight, I need to reduce. But until we spoke, it didn't give me that clarity.
mm,
Oh, this is my focus, right? For me, as I said, it gave me a clarity and awareness, especially.
mm.
Like within few weeks, I see the difference,
Mm,
and I'm amazed about where I was and how I am today.
mm,
So it's a drastic progress. I was practicing yoga and all this, but with the one session, it gave me a very good clarity, Manju.
mm,
I will tell you for sure, if anyone is, even my friends interested, will go over, I'll go over with them.
mm,
Obviously, I think if it gave me clarity, at least it will give 50% of clarity to them,
mm,
right? Because they are beginners.
mm,
So I would again repeat that same thing that, it
mm,
just the clear. And one more thing, um, I used to forget easily
mm,
earlier. The one main thing I started as self-awareness, I started observing. I used to, when I'm supposed to send an email, I forget to send an email.
mm,
What I do, I know that I have this memory loss kind of thing. So I open the email and keep it so that I don't forget at the end of the day.
mm,
But now, even uh, I can remember very easily. Okay, this is a conversation we had. So that memory had come back so quickly. I
mm,
was thinking, why am I losing my memory? What is wrong with me?
mm,
But I gained my memory. I can remember so many things.
mm,
But as I speak here now, I know that at 9:15, my husband should start to go pick up my daughter.
mm,
Those things. Earlier, I used to keep alarm and all those things.
mm,
Now, I'm absolutely saying it, from the heart
mm.
that, okay, this is happening. There's a lot of change. So I wish even Sriveni or Raj Kishore, if they would like to do and give it a try, definitely it will be very helpful for everyone.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
What you're saying is music to my ears. If this can bring this much shift, amazing.
Yeah.
So, taking a cue, I'm sure you probably have been following messages in the corporate seekers group.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, I'm thinking, how do we scale this engagement that you and me had to lakhs and lakhs of people? Okay. So it might mean two things. We need more Manjus and Sridevis to take this value to more people and scale it for more people. So, what do you think about me creating a recorded course in guiding people step by step in this flow of process to get clarity in what they are seeking?
So one thing is, Manju, again, even though we have so much of information everywhere,
Mm,
it is the seeker, the person who is willing to
mm,
learn or seek
mm,
and get the change in their life, right? See, how much ever we do, we
mm,
need the same. Of course, universe might connect us because we are thinking and our frequency might match with the people who are thinking same, like I was thinking that all these things, and I was
mm,
able to connect and get this whole discussion, right? Similarly, but again, that's a very good idea.
mm,
But I'm running out of thoughts or ideas now. I can definitely think about it.
mm,
Again, it is for the person who is interested, right? Though there's a lot of information around us, people might not have time.
mm,
People might be busy.
mm,
They might be lazy also,
mm,
or they might postpone. Let me take care because of the priorities. So there could be a lot of factors, right?
mm,
So it's not very hard to reach people, but I think it is a time consuming process, I would say.
mm. Yeah,
Yeah. That's my thought process.
sure. Thank you, Sridevi, for your perspectives.
Yeah.
So, on that note, perhaps we have reached the concluding part of today's satsang. Okay. Please go ahead and expand the habits and the frequency mention the frequency and
Sure.
pick your top 3 or 5 or 7, anything that's feasible for you to sustain, okay, on a daily and periodic basis. Okay, if there are things to be done on a weekly basis, that's great that you can sustain because it's once in a week. If it is something daily, pick 3 or 5, not more than that, that you can sustain, okay, for a longer duration. So then we will see what to do in the subsequent phases. Okay.
Sure, sure.
And
I'll do.
if you wish to have me as your accountability partner for a long term personally, we can have a conversation. We may just briefly connect right after this call for a few minutes
Sure,
and explore
sure.
that possibility if you wish that. Okay.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sridevi, for being a wonderful audience and
Thank you.
participant.
Thank you for the time.
Thank you. You are an authentic seeker. I can tell it through our conversation. Okay. So, any questions before we conclude? Sriveni, Rajkishore, you may unmute and ask if you have any questions.
Yeah, myself it is something.
Sorry, Sriveni, can you repeat?
No, myself it is nothing.
Sorry, couldn't hear you.
Yeah, what I'm saying is there is no questions for me.
Okay, no questions. Okay. So, have you worked on your sheet, Sriveni? Have you or Rajkishore? So, have you worked on your sheet across all these dimensions? If not, please start. Okay, I have posted the screenshot of this slide already in the WhatsApp group. So please refer to that. Take a pen and paper, start writing that. Okay, so you will see a shift. Okay, it's evident, and this is a great starting point. Yeah, Raj Kishore, you have anything to say? Raj Kishore, I see that you have unmuted. Do you want to say anything? We don't hear anything. Okay, maybe an audio issue there. All right. So thank you, seekers, for taking time out for yourselves and making your time count. Okay. So let's take action because the magic lies in taking action. Okay. So with that, we'll conclude today. We'll come back again next weekend. I think next weekend I'm in a workshop. I'm attending a rebirth breathing process workshop. So most likely we'll skip, or if there is time in the morning, we'll still conduct it. I'll keep you all posted. Okay. So thank you so much, and let's get more clarity for ourselves as to what are we seeking, the obvious things, as well as what are we seeking beyond the obvious, and keep this journey as a collective journey ahead for all of us. Thank you, and have a fantastic day. See you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.